Howdy, folks. Michael DiCarlo here for DiCarlosDanger.com, my blog. Hey, I've been looking at different mathematical equations that have been used to provide funding for a lot of resources we have down here in the border. I was trying to do the math because the answer is in the math, and it's actually, once you simplify it down and you divide them up into columns, you can see where the resources come from. But one thing that I did run across, I guess I can't switch this back and forth, was I was trying to build this map right here. And you can see up in the sky that our little surveillance thing isn't up there. So I guess somebody's importing something today, or maybe it's too windy, or maybe it's down for maintenance. But I'm going more likely with the somebody's importing something today. Because the Central Import Agency has a lot of pull, if you understand what I mean in there. Well, I drew this map of Arizona, and you can see it's backwards and it's not really adequate. Trying to figure out the math. And I came across an article written in 2015 was an interview with Representative Gosar, Gosar, out of Phoenix. And he broke it down really well. 80% of the land in the state of Arizona is owned by some form of government, mostly the federal government. So this invasion force that they're talking about, none of this is about protecting people. It is only about protecting the property of the United States government, the real estate. Okay? We're all property of it too, because you're not able to keep your own value. You have to surrender, 40% of it or more to the greater good for the distribution of all. Which is why some people retire early if they can, because they don't want to fund somebody else's follies in life when they're also funding government entities and people to distribute the money that they've surrendered. But it's a beautiful day here in Arizona. Been having a wonderful conversation with some friends via messenger and email. I'd like to give a shout out to Josh Who TV. I think we'll be getting involved over there a little bit later. I'd like to be involved now, but something about internet tracking and stuff like that. Let me tell you a little bit about what happened to me yesterday. It really didn't happen to me. What I did yesterday. I was having a difficult time, not difficult. I was having we'll call it a moment. A moment of utter frustration with a lot of things. Frustration being how society's been misled by violations of simple scientific principles of things like physics and issues like that for a generation. And when you put together that everything in government is backwards and upside down, it makes sense that no child left behind means every child's left behind. And if we're leaving the children behind, that means that the adults were already left behind because they bought into it. What I'm trying to tell you is that you're being herded and shaped like sheeple or chattel, tax slaves on your land. We all, in the eyes of the government, we only exist with privileges. And that is a paradigm shift that you'll have to make for yourself. And that being that the Constitution confines government to what it can and cannot do. The Constitution doesn't provide you with rights. Your rights are natural rights. Your rights belong to every person that is alive in the whole world. They all have these rights. They have the right to survive, the right to take care of their own. Those are rights that cannot be taken from government without due process. And we've come for, almost a century now, of criminalizing folks that their only crime is they don't have a license, a government provided license to conduct business. Take, for instance, folks, cannabis. Okay? Cannabis, marijuana, whatever, dope, weed, whatever you want to call it. We all have an endocannabinoid system. It's part of our body. A lot of the pharmaceutical drugs that we take numb out pain or affect your brain in certain ways so that you don't have the ability to use your own intuition or thought to create your own reality. Hint, if you don't create your own reality, somebody else will create it for you. And it's not going to be pleasant, and they're going to take 40%. So deductions I've made is that folks that are in prison right now for cannabis distribution or use, they were either unlicensed pharmacists or unlicensed distributors or whatever. But the rub is that you have nonviolent offenders in prison. Prison is reserved for the most violent among us because they hurt people. And you'll hear, well, statistics show that this and that or the other. Well, when you hear statistics quoted from government and from politicians in government, remember these people can't do math. Case in point, here in Cochise County in Arizona, down along the international border with Mexico, suddenly there's a $33 million shortfall in the retirement system for the police department or the sheriff's department. Well, hint, folks, we can't afford the size of the sheriff's department and the local police department now. So you've proved, through your generosity, through your taxation, this area has been provided with tremendous amounts of grants, financial grants, of federally funded financial grants of privilege. This has permitted these organizations, good folks stuck in a bad system, well, mostly good folks stuck in a bad system, to expand their need, to be able to demonstrate their need. This last week or so, there's been some violence on the other side of the international border in Naco, Sonora, and I want to say Agua Prieta. Both quiet little sleepy towns usually. But they blame, the newspaper and the government agents are quick to blame it on the cartels. Well, what is a cartel? Is a cartel something that, or is it a monopoly? And if it is a monopoly, and you can come to that logical deduction, what is the only real monopoly that we have here in America? Go back to that 40% of your value being taken for taxation again. What is the cartel? Now, on that same concept, we have to understand what government means in Latin. It means to control the mind. When you're able to control the mind of men or man and women and be able to influence the minds of children, because you need to maintain control over society, it becomes pretty self-evident, historically speaking, that the largest enemy of any government in the history of man has always been those that it's governed. And if you can accept that as a fact, you'll hopefully be able to understand that most of what you're seeing on television is a drastic misrepresentation of what is actually occurring in order to provide more control over your life. Simply saying, things are not always as they appear, nor are they always as they are advertised. I can go on and on about this. Maybe I will. I don't know. I might have to go down, get some, steal some Wi-Fi from somebody and actually bring the confuser down and make a video. We'll see. But anyway, this is Michael DiCarlo signing off for DiCarlosDanger.com. Been going about 10 minutes. Thanks for the walk around. I appreciate it. I might post another video here in a little bit. But y'all be careful out there. A lot of evil. There is evil in this world. Government is a necessary evil. I think the debate really should be about how much evil do we require as Americans to be subjugated to the United States government. We'll see. Michael DiCarlo signing off. Take care. Y'all be well. Peace out.